I am outside doing a live in the freezing cold. But it's fine. It's all good. Herbal tea. You know, I'm here to talk because I'm living very, very healthy in the cold mountains of Colorado currently. And I came from Mexico and I come from Florida, right? So I grew up in Massachusetts. I lived in Massachusetts through the thick of my healing journey. And then I just escaped the cold to Florida and then Mexico. And now I'm back up doing doing a protocol or continuing my protocol in the freezing cold mountains of Colorado, which are beautiful, by the way. Let me show you quickly if I can. Look at this. Look at all that. Absolutely gorgeous. However, a lot of people are living in the cold and need to learn how to cleanse seasonally for the cold weather. So, hi everybody. Welcome. As always, feel free to put any questions in the chat. Feel free to guide this conversation with whatever you need. I just flow through whatever needs to be talked about. So, cleansing in the winter. Now, one thing that I want to set the record straight on is all of y'all who, you follow me, which means you follow other health accounts, okay? And I'm not sure if this trend is still a thing, because I think we've gotten a more balanced message out there, but there was a period where everybody was only fruit cleansing, and everybody was thinking that the number one way to heal and the top way to heal and the only way to fully heal was to do fruit cleansing protocols. And that is especially not the case for people who are living in the cold locations, or you have a winter season upon you, okay? Now, when I first started my journey, I was thrown into that concept of fruit cleansing and juice fasting, and I did it in Massachusetts, okay? So I'm from Massachusetts. It is cold there. I did 100% fruit juice cleansing from November, December, January, February. That was the 4-month process, my first ever cleanse. I remember, now looking back at it, I remember my body got really, really thin, and my hands and feet were always cold, and I lost my period. I've shared this before. Yes, I've shared about my hair, I've shared about my teeth during that process. Now, there was an element to the actual time of year that I decided to do that fruit cleanse, because the body needs so much more nourishment and minerals during the cold weather months. The body needs so much more grounding and warmth during the cold weather months. So when I fruit juice cleansed for the entire 4 months that exist as winter, and I lost my period, right? And I got really, really thin, and my hands and feet were always cold. There's an element to that where, as women, when we foster our moon cycles, our periods, we are prime fertility age, there is something to keeping this area of the body warm, especially if you are living in the cold, especially if it is winter time for you. That is why fruit cleansing, juice fasting, cold styles of eating 100% raw may not be in alignment for you and your body, especially if you're women and you are going through the cold months and the winter season. Okay? Has anyone tried to fruit cleanse or detox or cleanse in general during the cold? Maybe share some experiences down below as I recollect my thoughts. How has your experience been cleansing in the cold temperatures? So when you are cleansing, when you are healing through the winter, okay? You know, a lot of people think that you need to be 100% raw to heal. A lot of people think you need to be high fruit to heal. A lot of people will advocate and say that they have successfully been able to handle a raw food diet while in the cold weather. That is amazing for those type of people. They probably have a very strong constitution, okay? They probably have a naturally warm body, okay? Now, if you need to cleanse and you know you need to cleanse, I truly don't wait to get healthy, because there are ways to absolutely promote cleansing, detoxification, and purification of the body in the cold weather months, okay? So I'm going to be using, in my detox group, The Healing Blueprint, I have an entire module about winter cleansing. So I'm going to just use that as a guide as well as I chat through. Y'all know I be flowing on Instagram, but I also I have all these protocols available for people. So I like to just refer and give you the information as it's laid out in a way that I've structured it beautifully. So when I'm teaching on live, I'm going to use that as a guide. Someone says, years ago, I did a juice fast for a few weeks in January in the cold. My weight and my skin cleared up. It was great, but I determined I couldn't continue that way. And that's what usually happens. It can feel amazing in the body. It absolutely can feel amazing in the body, but then it just becomes unsustainable if that's the only way that you think you have to heal, or if that's the only way that you think that you have to cleanse, okay? So cleansing the body foundationally, what this literally means is making sure that your elimination pathways are open, okay? Your colon, your kidneys, your lungs, your skin, your liver, and your lymphatic system, making sure that your elimination pathways and elimination organs are strong, are actually eliminating waste out of you. And then making sure to not be consuming anything that is going to contribute to toxin accumulation, mucus formation, and buildup, and inflammation. Okay, that's really all it takes to cleanse and detox the body, because your body will naturally heal itself. Your body will naturally detox itself. Okay. Also, I'm going to say a side note for anyone that is in the Healing Blueprint or our Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation group protocols right now. Haley is currently doing a live call inside back there. So I encourage you to join her. Come off of this live and go join her live. Use your voice to ask her questions. Speak through the process and touch base with her, please, so we can make sure that you are getting the support that you need during your protocol. Okay. So about how long should one work on supporting detox pathways before heading into cleanse? So that depends what you're defining as cleansing. Okay. A lot of people think they need protocols. A lot of people always think they need protocols. And I used to think like this. I used to put together protocols. I used to put together step-by-step things for people to follow. But in reality, y'all should just be living your life in a very healing way. Y'all should be living your life in alignment with how the human body desires to heal and desires to thrive. That's not a protocol. That's just life, And when you just live that way, that serves your body, that maintains the function of your elimination pathways and avoids accumulation of toxins and avoids accumulation of mucus, right? When you are just living in that way, you can jump into cleanses at any time. Like you're saying, my friend, you can jump into liver cleanses at any time when you're just living this way. You can jump into parasite cleanses at any time when you're just living this way, because your body is prepped always. Your body is continuously in a state of preparation when you are just living this way. And so when people are like, what's the protocol? I used to even share it as protocols, 12-week protocol, join for a 12-week protocol, come on the 12-week protocol. We all just need love. We all just need support. We all just need accountability. We all just need small areas of guidance, right? Because, healing the body and creating the routine that is meant for you, right? That is meant for you. I can't curate I can't curate an entire 12-week protocol and predict what your body is going to be like 12 weeks from now, or what your body is going to be like 10 weeks from now, right? Whenever I work with people one-on-one, I always do like a whole 2 to 3 hour intake session with someone, going over their eyes, going over their health history, going over their previous past, going through everything. And this is like, at the end of the session, what I usually tell people so they don't feel like things are a little crazy is like, when you're working with someone who is truly in your best interest and responding according to how your body is reacting to different parts of the protocol, it's impossible to lay something out all at once, right? Everybody is so used to, meeting with a naturopath, or meeting with a holistic coach, or meeting with a doctor for 30 minutes or an hour one time. And then they're trying to extract all the information they can, try to get everything, the full trajectory of what their protocol is going to look like in this one session. That is not realistic, because what ends up happening, and I always have to tell people, is your body is different from the next person. So when I'm working with someone and I'm starting at point A, right? We're determining together actually what point A looks like. You act on point A, we get to point B, right? If I thought of point C, actually no, because we could definitely predict a couple things in a row. So I'll say, if we start at point A and we have an idea of what point B and C look like in your journey, okay? How in the world am I going to know what points D, E, and F are if I don't know where your body is at after point B and C, right? How do I know how soon a juice fast is in your cards for your body if I don't even know how your body's elimination is responding? If I can't even tell how you're going to the bathroom? If I can't even tell that your lymphatic system is moving yet and your kidneys are flushing waste yet? Right? How am I going to put you on a higher level cleanse of a juice fast? Or how am I going to put you on a higher level cleanse of a liver flush if I don't even know that your bowels are fully moving yet? If we don't know how long your bowels are going to take to actually eliminate twice in a day, right? That's ideal. In order to do any sort of liver flushing, you need to make sure that the bowels are completely cleared. Okay? You need to be eliminating waste from your intestines at least twice a day before you are liver flushing. Especially because the reason why that is the liver dumps into the bowels, okay? Any of the waste that comes from the liver, if you're even releasing any sort of liver stones or gallstones, the way that these leave the body is through the intestines. If you have any sort of constipation or accumulation or clogged intestines, you are preventing the liver from being able to fully detoxify and fully release if you dive into a liver flush or a liver cleanse. Those are interchangeable words, like flush and cleanse. You see what I'm saying, y'all? You see what I'm saying? So, even in my experience in having the Healing Blueprint, this detox community, I have a 12-week protocol in there. And I'm learning very, very clearly that when I'm hopping on calls with people, a protocol that's laid out step by step by step. We go from blended fasting to juice fasting to water fasting. We go from foundational herbs to parasite cleansing to then colon and gut restoration. We go from, that's pretty much what it is. That's pretty much the two paths, right? The two paths that work together synergistically in a protocol. But, to cram that into 12 weeks and for someone to successfully feel the power of each of those different modalities, it's more beneficial if you are just presented the buffet of what's here, right? In order to heal the body, I'm going to tell you guys right now, in order to heal the body, any sort of journey of healing, when I work with anyone, whether it be in the Healing Blueprint, whether it be in the Ultimate Lifestyle Transformation, whether it be one-on-one with me, whether it be on Instagram Live, no matter what, it's always going to be Eat foods that are not inflammatory and not causing mucus. Make sure you're getting enough hydration in forms of juices, water, and teas. Make sure you're getting enough herbs, specifically antibacterial herbs, and then herbs that can specifically help the systems of the body. That is very supportive. Detoxifying herbs and strengthening herbs. Eventually, you will parasite cleanse. Eventually, you should consider juice fasting. Eventually, you should consider energy soup. Eventually, you should consider a fermented food sort of restoration. Eventually, you should consider using mono meals as a tool. Eventually, you should consider a liver flushing protocol. Eventually, you consider a parasite protocol, if I didn't say that. Eventually, you should consider a pesticide and chemical clearing protocol. Like, all of these things are foundational that every person needs, right? But the thing is, if I present it to you in a way where an entire 12 weeks is laid out for you, but your body doesn't do well on the parasite cleanse in the way that we expected. If you have any sort of adverse reactions to a parasite cleanse or a juice cleanse, or if you even have adverse reactions to including more greens in your body or green milk in your body, that tells us that the trajectory of what your body's healing requires can't be laid out in this 12-week protocol. Right? You're a body that needs more time. You're a body that needs more love, needs more opening, needs more support, needs more mitigation of adverse reactions, needs more love and care and attention. You see what I'm saying? Now, especially when you're winter cleansing, okay? Especially when you're winter cleansing, a lot of the things on social media, like when you're in cold weather, your body does not necessarily want to release in the way that it does during the spring and summer, okay? So in my opinion, the types of fasting protocols that should be done during the winter are blended food fasts, are warming soups, are veggie broth fasts. That's a good version of a liquid fast, a veggie broth fast. That's really, really nice. And then if you're doing juice fasts, I mentioned earlier, root veggies, warming spices in all your foods. You know, now I'm not talking about fasting anymore, but now I'm talking about just eating in the winter. A liver protocol can be supportive during the winter. I always recommend castor oil packs with any sort of liver protocol with a heating pad. A heating pad on the castor oil pack is beautiful, right? So those are the types of things that you can do during winter months, right? You can still fast. But you can still liquid fast is what I'm going to say. I'm not talking about dry fasting. I'm talking about liquid, right? You can still do those things, but you have to make sure the things that you're consuming are warming. Warm herbal teas, spiced seed milks, spiced nut milks, right? Warm lemon waters, warm apple cider vinegar lemon water, warm ginger water, green milk with a little bit of warm water if you desire that. Warm cacao is really helpful, right? Cacao has some great potency in it. Good iron, good magnesium, theobromine in cacao. Let's see some questions quickly. Hello everybody, welcome. Do you use any kind of skincare for your face? I use Dr. Bronner's bar soap. I use jojoba oil, and I use a blend of essential oils that I absolutely adore. And that is all that I use on my face now. Crazy because when I had acne, I was putting chemicals on chemicals and spending thousands of dollars on product and going through the ringer of this product line and that product line and this product line and nothing. You know? And now I literally use bar soap, jojoba oil, and essential oils on my face. And it looks like this, you know. Good stuff. I have gastritis. It's so awful. Ugh, my friend, I feel for you. Digestive symptoms are definitely rough, right? Digestive symptoms are uncomfortable. Gastritis is just inflammation of the gut lining, okay? That's what's happening. I don't believe in necessarily getting behind all these diagnoses names that they're throwing out there. Of course, I studied pre-med, right? I've heard the diagnoses names that they had back then, 5 years ago, right? I have not continued to study in the Western med field, so I don't know any of the new diagnoses that they're throwing out there. However, instead of a diagnosis, what's important to actually learn how to heal the body is, instead of a diagnosis, which the only reason they give you a diagnosis name is so they can match a pill to the diagnosis. The diagnosis is just a word for your set of symptoms, is a word that they think applies to what's happening in your body. It's exponentially more helpful and actually required for me to ask you, what is actually happening in your body that led to that diagnosis? What are you actually feeling in your body that led to that diagnosis? Okay? Now, for anyone that wants support winter cleansing, we are happy to hop on calls with you. One of my head coaches, Allie, she talks to all of you. She's talked to so many of you already to get you the right help that you need. We have different protocols to meet you where you're at. We have different group supports and one-on-one supports to meet you where you're at. You can literally get help on any single level, on any single tier, from me, from Haley, from Allie, from Kayla, from Becca, from Steph, from Sebastian, from like we've kind of created this dope kind of Avengers army of people that are equipped with natural medicine knowledge in order to help. That's literally all we're doing. We're just here to help you, because there's no reason that you should be victim to the system. There's no reason that you should be needing to have doctors prophesying over your life. It's very, very wild how the second a doctor will say something, it almost becomes embedded in your conscious and embedded in your spirit, unless you have the knowledge that equips you with the resilience to stay superior to their word. Okay? There is a power of the tongue. All right? So if you guys want help, just DM me the word ready. You can DM me the word ready and we will get you booked into the calendar. You will talk with Allie. Allie, if you don't know who Allie is, she is the one that works with me directly. Me and her are on the phone all the time. Because I show up on live all the time, because I'm making so much content, because I'm doing reels and I'm educating and I'm hosting for the actual clients and I'm hosting for the groups and I'm doing all the things. If you guys need help and you just want help figuring out where the best path is for you, specifically where you're at, Allie helps so much. Allie helps so much. She's such a gentle soul, a gentle spirit. And you can talk with her. So DM me the word ready and she will let me know when you book in, who you are. She will send you a short little questionnaire that allows me to see who you are, what you're struggling with, what you're dealing with, and then me and her chat a little bit about your conversation together. So just DM me the word ready and we will absolutely determine the best path for you. How to get your detox product. What is my detox product? I don't have a detox product. I'm helping you guys heal. It's not like a detox product. It's we're giving you the entire scope of the experience of what it takes to heal anything in your body. Sometimes I get away with saying bold claims like reversing anything in your body, but sometimes, I can't say that legally. So yeah, DM me the word ready if you want to talk. If you want to talk and you want to chat through how you can get help, especially don't, just because it's the winter, don't wait, we want to adapt. We want to adapt to where you are living and where you are at. What's your favorite tincture? I do not like tinctures. I am not a fan of tinctures at all, actually. I do not like alcohol. I do not like consuming tinctures. It does not make my herbal experience enjoyable at all. I don't like how hot they are in the body. I just do not like how alcohol feels in my body. And, especially when you're on a backbone, if you're on a protocol where it's all tinctures and you are looking for tinctures to support each of the body systems, that's a lot of tinctures. I went through the tincture stuff in the beginning. I was only working with a certain company where they just had tinctures on tinctures on tinctures for every system of the body before I created Iris Herbals with Haley, right? I love the whole herbal capsules, the whole herb powdered into capsule form. I do not like it. Glycerin-based tinctures. Good question. Yeah, I'd be more open to glycerin-based tinctures, you know, honey in there, honey-based tinctures. The potency of glycerin-based tinctures is definitely different from alcohol tinctures. Yeah, I don't know. I like my capsules. I like my whole herbs. I like my tea. I like my powdered herbs and I like my tea. I would say that I'd definitely be open to glycerin tinctures for sure. That's just my take on alcohol tinctures. I feel very strongly that I do not like alcohol tinctures in my body. I did not like to when I was working with a lot of people where when I was and had to be using tincture-based protocols a couple years ago, like 2 or 3 years ago, like some of my clients were kind of getting drunk off of tinctures. You know what I'm saying? It's like you had the kidney formula, you had the liver formula, you have the blood formula, you have the colon formula, you have the lymph formula, you have the adrenal formula. It's like all the different things. Like there's 9 tinctures to get everything in the body instead of when you just powder the whole formula. Like you can powder the whole formula. And then you have the dosing for every system of the body in a powdered form that you can either take in capsules or you can just mix up with honey, right? You can mix up with honey. And this formula in particular, Tres Meses, you know, you're taking 6 capsules 3 times a day. That's 18 capsules per day. That sounds like a lot, but if we're comparing, you know, 9 tinctures across the systems of the body to 6 capsules at each dose, and you're still hitting all the same systems of the body within this one synergistically blended formula. There's something too to consider when you're taking tinctures, if they're from different companies and if they're from different places. There's an element of synergistic herbs working synergistically together, okay? And what that means is, you know, when you have one tincture, the herbs within one tincture are usually working synergistically with each other, right? If you have a liver formula and you have different herbs within the liver formula, those herbs are usually working synergistically together. They're put inside that liver formula for a reason. However, when you also introduce a colon formula to the body, or you're also going to introduce a blood formula to the body, or you're also going to introduce a lymph formula to the body, even though the individual independent formulas are synergistically working within each formula, now when you add multiple formulas to your body, are those 2 formulas synergistically complementing each other on top of it? It's like a 2-layer working together. So our formulas at Iris Herbals, they are all synergistic if you are going to combine them in the way that we recommend in protocols, right? Tres Meses is completely a one-stop shop detox formula, okay? That person who asked me, can I get your detox product? If you're going to get anything, it's going to be this one that's in your entire 3-month herbal protocol laid out. However, the herbs can only go as deep as you want to go, which is why I'm saying I don't really have a detox product. I'm here trying to teach you the whole experience of healing your body that has got me successfully off of chemotherapy, that has got me successfully restoring my hair and restoring my period and restoring my teeth after completely losing it, restoring my weight after dropping so much weight, right? Getting all the Western med chemotherapy chemicals out of my liver, my spleen, my lymph, my blood, right? So it's not a detox product, but the herbs are only going to go as deep as you want to go, right? And that means the practices that you're embodying, the diet that you're consuming, the love of God and love of your purpose and just love for one another, love thy neighbor as thyself, right? There is all of that. You're breathing, you're resting, you're sleeping, you're out in naturing, right? All of these things. If you are only going to take herbs and think that's going to heal you, yeah, the herbs can do a lot of work. It's dope. A lot of parasite cleanses are strong enough to still parasite cleanse you, even if you're eating meat still, even if you're eating foods that aren't necessarily fully healing. Yeah, the herbs are powerful. However, the herbs are only able to go as deep as you allow them to go, as deep as you embody a healing lifestyle, which allows the herbs to work deeper on the tissues of your body. Because imagine if you're using herbs, but you're still consuming mucus forming foods, and you still have these layers of inflammation that are coming from your diet, but you're now trying to put the herbs to combat the inflammation that's coming from your diet and your lifestyle. The lifestyle of stress, the lifestyle of blue light, the lifestyle of toxic perfumes and shampoos and soaps and laundry detergent and the plastic clothing that we're all wearing. There are so many levels to this stuff. I appreciate this about you. I notice the natural world is starting to operate like allopathic in terms of instant gratification with a pill and a superfood shake and a tincture magically doing it all. See? And the thing is, you know, the natural health field is a business, is a booming business. And the reason why that is because all of us are woken up and we realize that the system that society has created, that our parents fell into, that our grandparents fell into. My grandma is full in Western med. Me being her daughter listens to nothing that I say. Me being my grandma's granddaughter listens to nothing that I say. My father listens to nothing that I say. My mother listens to nothing that I say. My brother used to work for me, listens to nothing that I say. Right? And it's like the generations that have fallen into that system, we all have woken up to the fact that that does not work and that is not what we want. And because of that, we are now consumers of a new type of system. We are consumers of a natural health system now, right? This is a new economic business, which is dope. Right? Which is dope when you have people moving in integrity, which is dope when you have people who are actually telling you the reality of, yeah, my product is super dope. My product is super dope. Yeah, my product is super dope. Awesome. They are a piece of the puzzle. They are a piece of the puzzle where ultimately you have everything you need on your balcony, in your room, in your car, in your heart, in your mind, in your soul. Ultimately, you have everything that you need to heal. And these other things are tools, right? These other things are either helping your body to kickstart its natural function again, or are helping to nourish your system if the food where you're at is depleted, if you're forced to buy produce from Walmart or Aldi or these places where the produce is shipped in from miles and miles away and losing their mineral content. That is where these things, right? These products fill in the gaps, okay? Now, within the natural field too, supplements are not created equal. Supplements are not created equal at all. For me, I only work with two things. I work with Iris Herbals, which is the company that me and Haley created because we couldn't keep pulling from all the other natural health tinctures and all the other things out there. We needed to know where our herbs were sourced from. We needed to know that the formulas were exactly synergistically working within each other and in complement to each other, okay? We needed to know where everything was being from. We sourced from a local regenerative Colorado farm, literally have the exact single farm, right? The one farm that we love, we have it shipped to our herbalist and she manufactures everything for us. She blends all the formulas that we've created, farm to our manufacturer Heidi, and then packaged in our fully backyard compostable non-toxic bags, and then they end up here in this beautiful house in Colorado and then get shipped to you. That's literally the process, right? Farm to Heidi to compostable packages to Colorado cabin house and then to you. Okay? That is, the fact that we know where it all comes from, and that is what I use. I use that and I use Purium. Okay? Purium comes from farms in Utah. Everything is dehydrated on the farms in Utah. Things are brought to the Purium warehouse. Purium, they inspect the trucks before they even choose to receive a dehydrated product from a farm. They inspect the truck to make sure there is no insects, there is no dirt, there is no grunge, there is nothing within the truck before they even accept the product into their warehouse. Once they accept the product into their warehouse, they run every single dehydrated powder that comes from the farms. The farms dehydrate on site. Purium only works with farms that dehydrate on site, because the less you have the shipping time of the produce, the sooner that things are processed, dehydrated at a very low temperature so it doesn't kill off the living enzymes of the product, of the produce. The fact that there's such a small time period from when things are harvested to when they're dehydrated, you maintain the most mineral content. So when the Purium warehouse, when they're receiving these individual ingredients from the farms, right? They're inspecting the truck, and then they run every single individual ingredient through a machine testing, which ensures that there is no filler, there is no binder, there is no chemical. It is 100% the pure substance that they are requiring, whether it's the spirulina, whether it's the wheatgrass, whether it's the carrot, dehydrated carrot, whether it's the dehydrated alfalfa, whether it's the dehydrated dandelion green, you know what I'm saying? They run it through a machine testing of the single ingredient before they're even blending together their formulas. For example, the Power Shake, right? The Power Shake has the alfalfa in it, has the fruits in it, has your other greens in it. Every single one of those individual ingredients has gone through a level of purity testing before it's even put together in the Power Shake. So then you have a guarantee that the individual ingredient itself is 100% pure. Then all those pure ingredients are then blended together to form a Power Shake, and then they test the actual Power Shake formula again at the end of the blending process to then quadruple check that it is pure. So those are the two things that I work with, right? Those are literally the two things that I work with. I work with two companies. I do not promote anything else in terms of my protocols. Sure, there's some amazing fun stuff added to the group, added to the things like CMOS and Shilajit and terpenes and CBD and the extra stuff, right? That's extra stuff that I use now, that I enjoy using now, that absolutely will support the body in all of these different elements, absolutely. But the backbone of what I've used and what I've always used has never changed and has worked, and it continues to work for the hundreds of people that I work with, right? That was a long spiel about the natural health field, right? Long spiel. But, you know, I used to work at the vitamin store. The vitamin store, I don't know if you guys have that on the West Coast, but on the East Coast, we have the Vitamin Shop. It's spelled SHOPPE, the Vitamin Shop. I used to work there for 1.5 years. I used to see all the supplements that came in and out of those doors. I used to see all the ingredients, the garbage ingredients that are mixed into supplements that could have been good, but they put fillers in it, they put binders in it, and they put preservatives in it so they have a longer shelf life if they're going to be in a retail store, right? The natural health field has like just fully, and the way that marketing is too, it's like the marketing, like you said earlier, my friend, like you're like, they're touting everything as like a cure-all, as if everything is a cure-all. You know what's a cure-all? The cure-all is changing who you are, right? The cure-all is not going to bed at 2 a.m. The cure-all is actually going to take walks. The cure-all is stop living a sedentary lifestyle. The cure-all is learning how to be empowered over your cravings for junk food. The cure-all is setting boundaries across your friends and your family and whoever is around you that's maybe trying to keep you roped into old habits and old patterns, especially those of you who are drinking alcohol still or smoking weed still. It's like, that's not medicinal. It's not medicinal, okay? That's important. Like the cure-all is honoring your spirit, is honoring your mind, is honoring your creator, is loving and respecting the medicine that has been put here on this earth for us. Like, that's the cure-all. The cure-all is a long list. The cure-all can never be one. And you're going to get sucked into the trap if you believe a cure-all can be one. If you believe the cure-all is one superfood shake, sure, the one superfood shake could be really, really awesome in bridging the gaps for you to get enough minerals in your body. Kind of like the green milk that we always talk about, right? The blend of spirulina and the blend of wheatgrass. Yeah, that's going to make up a lot of the mineral gaps if you're not eating enough leafy greens, if you're not even eating enough food in general, if you may not have a large appetite, if you need so much more iron because you're anemic, or if you lose a lot of blood during your period, yeah, the green milk would do a great job at filling in the gaps. However, a long-term thing, you can't just only take green milk for the rest of your life and expect to be healed. You know what I'm saying? I'm getting cold now out here. I'm like starting to fidget. I need to do some sort of like quick power movements in order to warm up. All of you guys who are watching the live, if you're not moving your body, I encourage you to move your body right now with me, please. Move your body. Do some stretches. Use this time. Use this time. You can enjoy the top of my head. Also, by the way, the top of my head, I literally used to be bald, by the way, because I literally lost my hair for a period of time. So, we're nice and restored now. Whew. This is good. Okay, I'm gonna do a couple more. Oh, okay. We warmed up. We're warmed up. She's on fire. Hi, Nayeva. Tori, I've been following you for a while and I'm proud of your journey and the practical advice you add to the nutrition side. Yeah. I used to only be focused on nutrition too, but it's impossible. You can't, because when I was only focused on nutrition in my own body, I tapped out of it. I tapped out of it completely. You know, my body only got to a certain level of physical healing, and then I just was like, oh. Then I fell into the trap of just doing a ton of psychedelics. And then that still didn't even bring me to it. And then it was like, oh yeah, let me just like pray to God and ask God and talk to God and like love God and like realize that I'm made in the image of God and realize that like, you know, we need other people and we need community and we need to like, you know, just stop trying to control every element of our lives and realize that everything is literally put in our path for the best of us as long as we are moving with pure intention and pure love and pure forgiveness, right? As long as we're not making moves out of resentment or hate or revenge or meanness or cynicism. You know, we'll always make mistakes and some people may do other people. You know, you always may hurt someone in some way. But ultimately, you know, if you're living a life of integrity and a life of morality and a life of like, you try to just show up and be love and be forgiveness, anything that is in your path will only be coming from God if you honor that, right? Versus things may be put in your path that are not necessarily from God if you are living, you know, in a way of feeling unforgiveness and resentment and hate and just those types of emotions, right? So, you know, the period of tapping out of nutrition and then taking a ton of psychedelics, which still didn't even like bring me enough, like, you know, taking a ton of psychedelics makes you feel super spiritual. It does, which it opens you up to the spirit realm. It kind of puts you in the spirit realm and like, you definitely get a level of it, but then you keep chasing it. You know, it's like with psychedelics, you don't just do psychedelics a couple of times and like learn how to be a good person, you know, like you learn how to be a better person, at least in my experience. You know, in my experience, I personally just kept chasing the psychedelic and it wasn't even quite giving me what I have now with just like my true path and love and honor of like this life that has been given to me by the Creator. You know, it's a little different. It's a little different. Can you share about how you restored your teeth health? Hi, Susanna. Yes, I'll talk about teeth. That's a good one. I'm also cold. I might have to like wrap this up soon, but it's okay. Actually, let me have some more of this tea. Okay. So teeth. Teeth are hard to restore once you lose them. Not once you lose them, or once they start deteriorating, they're kind of hard to restore. So, because, you know, when your teeth start to deplete, it means that it went too far. The, like, lack of nourishment went too far. Okay? You are glowing. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. It's the internal glow. The internal glow reflects on the external. Okay, so when your teeth start to deteriorate, or when you start to see depletion of your teeth, it means that you definitely have just like creeped a little too far into the lack of nourishment, right? And the teeth, in my personal embodied experience, because my teeth started to deplete very quickly when I was doing a ton of fruit cleansing, when I was doing that 3 years ago. And since that point, I have not been able to get my teeth 100% to look like what they used to look like, okay? So the areas where they have depleted, so my teeth in general, they're like fine here, okay? They're like fine. It's more like bottom teeth. My bottom teeth, only along the gum lines is where things started to deplete faster, okay? So my actual teeth, like away from the gum lines, there was no depletion that had started to creep throughout my entire tooth. It's right along the gum line, okay? So there, I still see, like, they filled in, how can I even describe this? Let me describe what this looks like so you guys know kind of what happens. So when you start to deplete your body down and you're either not consuming enough food or you're not getting enough minerals, it's not necessarily cavities that start to form, but the teeth starts to break away, or they just start to look a little off along the gum lines. You can tell there may be some black spots that start to occur along the gum lines, or you can see like the color and texture of like these little round spots along the gum lines may start to change. Things may start to look a little brown along the gum lines. So for me, I've had like black spots. I've had these little like rounded kind of like crevices that you would think is a cavity, but when I went to the dentist, they're like, no, this hasn't actually hit the root of the tooth to where it's a full cavity on most of them. So with fruit cleansing, you are at risk of depleting yourself of minerals, okay? And in my journey of like fully restoring things back, those black stained areas and those areas where they looked like a cavity, but they weren't, they were just like a breakaway of the tooth and like a softening of the tooth along the gum line, those have filled in again with enamel, but the enamel is a different color and it is much softer than the rest of my teeth, okay? So along the gum lines, it's still very sensitive. Like, you know, if I were to like scrape along my gum lines, I can feel the sensitivity because that enamel is not very hard and it is not the same color white as the rest of my tooth. Yeah, it doesn't look seamless, right? It used to look seamless before it depleted down, and now in the restoration, it's just I don't believe with how long it's taken me. I don't know how long it will take and if I can even get to the point of my tooth being fully seamless again. You see how that makes sense? You see what I'm saying? So yeah, I can fill everything in, but it's not with the enamel still is not super tough and hard, and it will still have like elements of sensitivity to it, right? And if I go through a period of time where I'm like, it kind of has to be a long period of time, like say I go like a week. Say I go a week and I'm like not eating a lot, or I'm like not having enough herbs, or I'm not having enough just minerals and nourishment as a human. because my body is in fight or flight quite often, you know, I do a lot of work, I show up on live, I show up for a lot of clients, like most of us are in fight or flight often, and we just have a lot going on. So the amount of nourishment that we require, like my body can't get away with fasting for a week and be fine. Like I definitely deplete down quite quickly with the amount of work and nervous system work that is happening internally for how much nourishment I need. I can't get away with just not eating. So if I go through eras of like just totally ignoring green milk or totally ignoring herbs or totally ignoring like seed milks and nut milks, and if I'm having none of that, right? If my diet just looks like salad and some fruit and some like dope chickpea pasta, which is kind of, yeah, that's kind of rare. I don't know why I just said that. But like my teeth will show me, my teeth will tell me, they'll get more sensitive. Those areas that were previously depleted, I can tell that like there's a little bit essence of depletion coming back. So in order to do that, there was in order to get it to the point where it had filled in, I needed endless nourishment. I needed a ton of energy soup. I needed green milk every single day. I was doing sesame seeds, pumpkin seeds, sunflower seeds, all in different milks. I would have a 32-ounce mason jar of a seed milk at least a day, right? It was a lot of rigorous nutrition to fill in where my teeth were at the most depleted they were. Same with my hair. That was the same thing. And same getting my period back. Like that was all around the same time, right? If you have a cavity, do you have to get it filled? I don't believe you have to. I actually just bought a course from a biologic dentist that I haven't gone through yet, where he's completely talking about cavities, naturally healing cavities. He fully advocates for naturally healing cavities. He's fully studied this for many, many years. So I just particularly bought his course so I'm able to actually see if I can do it on myself and reverse the depletion 100%. I would say it's reversed like 80%. Teeth can become sensitive from nutrient deficiencies. 1000% yes. If you are someone who is nutrient deficient, most of us are, you know, if we're not getting enough. But if you're someone whose teeth is actually not showing any depletion, you are lucky, and that is good. Okay? That is really, really good. That means that your body holds on to minerals quite well, and that probably means that your body has a stronger, I guess I'll say constitution level, but that also may not be the case. I'll just say that you're someone who holds on to minerals well then. That's good. That's good. What does depletion look like when it comes to the teeth? They can be more sensitive to the touch. They can be sensitive to temperature. They can be sensitive to things like dates and honey. You can notice them. They may feel like a little softer along the gum lines. You may have black, like tiny little black spots appear on the gum lines. You may see things that start to look like cavities, but a dentist, you know, a cavity is quite deep into the tooth, so it may start, right? You may have the essence of something that starts to look like a cavity, a little like spot, a little circle where you can start to see like the layers of tooth are looking like they're coming away. Along the gums is where it will primarily start before it creeps up to the rest of the tooth. But the first sign is sensitivity. Okay, the actual like depletion of like the physical coloration changing and the breakdown of the teeth, it first starts as sensitivity. If you're noticing your teeth are sensitive to just like brushing and temperature and like hitting them and like sugar, like honey, but sugar from natural sugars, like honey, maple syrup, dates, like if those things are like hitting one of your teeth in a weird way, like I would just pay attention. Mine were hurting and super sensitive. When I learned about green milk and worked that into my routine, it was definitely a game changer for my teeth. Yay, Danielle, good. Yeah, that was me too. That was the same case too. It was my teeth were super sensitive. They were hurting. They were depleting. Mine ended up physically looking like you could see physically the depletion of them. And yeah, just the minerals were essential, right? Do you believe in coconut oil pulling as a good protocol in healthy dental hygiene? That's a good question. That's a great question. So my teeth health is like, you guys see my teeth, right? You see my teeth? You know what I'm saying? I think my teeth speak for themselves. I do not oil pull. Okay? I do not oil pull, and two, coconut oil pulling, that's not even Ayurvedically accurate. Ayurvedic medicine, the one of original forms of medicine along with Chinese medicine, these are the original philosophies of medicine, natural medicine that have been around forever. Ayurveda says that sesame oil is even the oil that you should be using for oil pulling. I'm not sure where coconut oil came from. I'm not saying that Ayurveda doesn't use coconut oil, but the backbone of the original philosophy of oil pulling was always sesame oil. So I personally don't oil pull. My teeth health has always been really good too. So, you know, I think there's an element of like, my teeth are this white and I don't do anything to them, you know? I just have never drank coffee in my life. I never drank a lot of Coke, you know, that's soda, dark soda. I've never drank. Even with the amount of tea that I drink now, my teeth still maintain to be this white. I brush them many times a day, like 2 times a day, sometimes 3 times a day. I floss all the time. I brush every night. I don't go to sleep without brushing my teeth. I do not oil pull. Like, I've oil pulled before, but I've never used oil pulling as like one of my embodied habits. Okay? Like, I've definitely used it and I know how it feels in the body. Yeah, like my teeth, I don't use any fluoride toothpaste. I don't even use hydroxyapatite toothpaste either. I did use hydroxyapatite when my teeth were really, really depleted and I got scared. But yeah, I just use an Ayurvedic toothpaste. What kind of floss do I use? I use this bamboo floss is one of them. And then another one I use is black. It looks like it's charcoal based. But yeah, bamboo floss. I don't use floss with any sort of chemicals on it. I don't use floss with any sort of wax on it. I don't use floss with any sort of like scents or things on it. The toothpaste that I use is linked in my bio. I think it's towards the, like, if you go to link in my bio and you scroll down, it should say like detox tools, shop detox tools. You guys can see the toothpaste that I use. There. I'm so cold out here. Can drinking herbs for opening pathways make you more sensitive? What do you mean by sensitive? Drinking herbs for opening the pathways. Your body becomes more sensitive as you start to like heal it though. Like you become less resilient to junk. Oh, emotionally sensitive. Absolutely. All the emotions are one and the same, of course. If you're on the healing journey, your emotions will likely just go crazy because what happens is, you know, I'm not going to say they'll likely go crazy. It's not odd for the emotions to go crazy because what's happening is you're fighting patterns. You're fighting diseases and symptoms that have ultimately manifested from your life habits, which just stem from the mind, right? Your life habits stem from the mind. Your life habits stem from not honoring your spirit. Your life habits come from coping and soothing, you know, areas of your spirit where you feel lost, where you feel ignored, where you feel abandoned, where you feel unloved. Like, that's where those habits come from. Cravings come from that, you know, just being completely sedentary and just losing yourself into TV or YouTube or scrolling like on social media. All of that is just life habits that stem from part of your spirit is lost, you know. Yeah. I need help with tumors on my right kidney. I would recommend that you start to drink a lot more fluid. You should be cutting out anything high salt and high sugar. High salt and high sugar are both very, very hard on the kidneys. I would start to do castor oil packs on the back of your kidney area. I would do castor oil packs on the front of your liver as well, the number one detoxifying organs. I know not to eat too much oxalates. I would go look at the last reel that I posted about oxalates because I don't believe in that at all. Yeah, when you actually understand the physiology of the kidneys, and then you understand why people are even making that oxalate argument right now in the natural health trendy world, it doesn't make sense. So, when you actually dive into what is being said about these things and how the actual physiology of the kidneys work and how actually these medicines have been put on our earth for a reason and the extreme benefit of leafy greens, your body should be able to easily process out oxalates if your kidneys are functioning, right? And in order to restore kidney function, that doesn't mean you completely ignore leafy greens because you need minerals from leafy greens, but you can help support kidney function by restoring the kidneys, right? You can do that with different herbs to restore the kidneys, dandelion root, parsley enemas, kidney ginger poultices, castor oil packs on the kidneys, lots of hydration. You cannot get away with trying to heal the kidneys without hydration. Herbal teas, juices, plenty of water, coconut water. Yeah. No sugar, no salt. I was just going to say low sugar, low salt, but actually if you're trying to heal tumors on your kidneys or you're trying to heal any sort of kidney dysfunction, kidney disease, no sugar, no salt. It is what it is. I don't eat sugar. I don't eat salt for this long. I've been amazing. I've been successfully cooking and living with no sugar, no salt this whole time. So yeah, that's the vibes for healing the kidneys, My body is starting to freeze over. Do you have any tips for helping someone get off heavy daily marijuana use? No salt. Ding, 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 ding. Yeah, for sure. For sure. Yeah, so, heavy and daily marijuana use, the reason why you're using it that much is because there's a part of your spirit that is lost, right? There's a part of your spirit that's missing something. There's a part of your spirit that feels empty. Whenever we suffer with addiction, that's where I came from. I was fully addicted to marijuana. I started using marijuana at age 15, and I used it all the way up, even through my cleansing journey, even through when I almost died, even through the cleansing journey that came after. I was using marijuana up until 2 years ago. Yeah. Heavy. And yeah, part of us is just we're just addicted. And why are we addicted? Because it's fulfilling a void in our spirit. It's filling a void in our spirit that only God can fill. We don't do it. Psychedelics won't even do it. When I came off of it, I just quit cold turkey. At one point it was just all of a sudden I was like, oh, this is actually making me, the second I smoke, I am anxious and paranoid, and I could tell that there's just the energy of the marijuana, whatever energy that it brought darkness to me, brought darkness to my mind. It at that point I was literally trying to cope and soothe the anxiety and paranoia that was brought on by my behavior of smoking. I was totally able to cope, and then I would just fall to the addiction of smoking, right? The daily routine of smoking. The second I smoked for that day, my energy was gone for the day. I had to sit in my bed and my mind was just gone for the day too, And of course, when we get like that and we're addicted to it, we can function and we can drive and we can grocery shop, we can go to the movies, and it's kind of fun, and we're kind of not present and we're kind of not there. So yeah, it's kind of fun until it's just not fun. And then you just wake up and you're just oh, why am I actually doing this to myself? When I say no sugar, does that mean no fruit? No. No sugar is no processed sugar. Maple syrup and honey and fruit is natural sugars for kidney healing. I wouldn't say maple syrup and honey and fruit sugar heal the kidneys. I wouldn't say that, but they're not hurting the kidneys like a processed sugar is. And salt in general, even though it's natural, right? Salt even is still not helping the kidneys. Do you believe in a time of isolation to reflect and reconnect to oneself before leveling up spiritually? Before leveling up spiritually, I think those things happen simultaneously. I think that there's a level of noise that happens from always reporting to other people and other places and other things. There's a level of distraction that pulls you away from being able to hear the Creator clearly. There's a level of, like, it pulls your discernment away from you when you're just like reporting to a lot of other things. So a period of isolation, I wouldn't say that I'm in a period of isolation right now and I feel the most spiritually sound. Like, my mind feels the most sound it's ever been. I like clearly can hear the voice of God often. I'm like kind of being clearly led, very clearly led, by him that's outside of myself. And I haven't necessarily used a period of isolation for that. There have been periods of isolation for sure that I've been in, and I would say they're good. Like, they're good and I like them a lot, but also I don't know if it's required. I don't think that detachment for a limited time is toxic. I don't think that detachment or isolation is toxic unless you're doing it from a place of avoidance, unless you're doing it from a place of unless you're doing it from a place of avoidance, you know? But I think it's good. Like, the distractions are a lot. And like, even if you're not able to hold boundaries with people, isolation might be an easy way to, like, you know, strengthen up your spirit. You know, spending some time with yourself is always good. Spending some time with your mind alone is always good. Asking God to encounter you, asking God to just show himself to you in the way that you should be shown it, right? Everyone's shown differently, everyone speaks differently, everyone hears differently and communicates differently. You know, we don't need to be fighting on who hears God and what way that they hear God. We don't need to be fighting with each other on what our man-made situation is. But it's like, you know, the only way that you'll be able to figure it out with yourself is being able to do it and ask for it with yourself. You know, God can only talk to you if you're not distracted. God can only clearly communicate to you if you're not distracted, and if your ears are not distracted and your eyes are not distracted. Okay, I'm hungry too. I think I'm gonna go. This was a beautiful live. Thank you all for asking your questions. We talked about a lot. For anyone who's just joining, we talked about cleansing during the winter season, different protocols that are helpful during the winter season. If you guys are ready for we also talked about the natural health business that it is. We talked about, you know, how to be discerning if you're buying products or selling products. I mean, if you're buying products or being marketed to in the natural health space. If you desire any support, desire to work with me, desire to work with my people's, desire to work just within the network of what we have here to offer, whether it's not directly with me, but whether it's with all the people that I work with, my peers, people that you know, we've culminated a beautiful team here. I love every single person that we work with. If you desire to work in our network or work in our community, you can DM me the word ready, and we will get on a call with you and make sure that you are supported and going into the right path that is meant for you. Wherever you are in your process, there is a path for you, there is help for you, there is accountability for you, there is love for you, there is support and people that are here on the journey. Haley's literally doing a call right now. I think like maybe 15 or 20 people, I think, are just sharing their hearts and sharing their stories, having space held for them, being able to learn from other people's experiences, sharing about life and spirit, the mind, healing the physical body, but also healing the soul, healing the spirit. So if you need any help, any help at all, we are here. I am here. Just DM me the word ready. And thank you all for hanging out. I absolutely have loved the energy of today's live with all of you who are participating. All of you. I appreciate you just as much. Thank you for the kind words. I'm sending you absolute kind words back. I hope that your Saturday is blessed, is joyful, is spontaneous, is happy, is healing, is calm, is sound, is for you, right? Is for you. Okay. If you need me, DM me the word ready. That's really all you gotta know. Other than that, yeah, you can look at the link in my bio if you need any more anything. It's all there. All right. Peace.